Hi, this is Don. Most of us have heard of the concept of an inner voice of wisdom. Perhaps some of us have had the experience of tapping into that. There are a number of ways you can do that. I wanted to share one with you in this video, and I'll mention a few others in another one. And this approach makes use of something called a guided fantasy. It's simply a story that I share with you, and all you need to do is follow along in your own imagination. It only takes a few minutes, and I've done this with groups and classes, and invariably people mention that it's an interesting experience, and some folks find it really insightful. So I think you'll enjoy it. However, if you find yourself drifting off and thinking about this and that, that's fine. I've even had people fall asleep. But if you can follow along with me in your imagination, I think you'll have an interesting experience. And by the way, it's an experience you can return to at any time in your own mind or even by listening to this video again. So I want you to imagine and try and get in a place, if you can, where you can relax, a comfortable chair, a couch, or whatever. Take a nice deep breath. Some people like to close their eyes. It helps them imagine, or you can keep it open, whatever pleases you. And I'd like you to imagine that it's a lovely spring day and you're out for a drive. And as you're driving, you spot this lovely meadow full of wildflowers. And there's a little pull-off where you can park your car, and you pull your car there, and you get out, and you just notice this beautiful field of wildflowers. There's a slight breeze, and you notice that there's a path that goes through the meadow. And it's an afternoon. You've got some time before it gets dark, so you decide you're going to take a walk on that path. So you walk for a while. It's really lovely. You can slight fragrance of the wildflowers in the air. There are butterflies flitting around, birds chirping. Just a really pleasant, peaceful environment. And after a while, you come to a stream, kind of a babbling brook with smooth rocks and the sound of water. And there's a little bridge. And you take the bridge and go to the other side and continue on the path. Before long, you come to a mountain. It's not terribly high, it looks climbable. And there's a path leading up, and you have this sense that something's waiting for you at the top. You're not quite sure what, but you're really drawn to continuing your journey. So you start climbing the path, and it goes around and around, kind of circles the mountain. And after a bit, you realize you're close to the top, and as you approach the summit, you see a clearing. And in that clearing is a campfire, and someone is sitting beside the fire. And you have a sense that they're expecting you, that they've been waiting for you. So as you walk toward them, they look up, and they motion to you to come and sit by the fire with them. And as you get close, you look at them and you realize you are in the presence of a very, very wise individual. What does this person look like to you? How do you imagine them? You sit by the fire and look into the flames for a few moments, as does the other person, while you're silent. And then they turn to you and they say, "You can ask me any question you wish, and I will give you an answer." So think for a moment, what is the one question you would like to ask them? Anything about your life, about the world, whatever it might be. What would you most like to know right now? And then ask them that question. They think for a moment, and then they reply. What is it they say to you? It may make sense, or it may be a bit of a puzzle that you have to think about. You notice it's getting a bit dim, that the light is starting to go down, and you want to get back to your car before it gets dark. So you thank the wise person, and as you get up, they rise as well, and they reach out to you, and they give you a gift. What is it that they've given you? It may make sense, or it may be a bit of a mystery, perhaps a symbol of something. You thank them for the gift and for their time and their wisdom. You bid them good evening, and you turn and walk away. And you go down the mountain, circling round and round. You come to the beginning of the path in the meadow. Light's getting dimmer, but you can still see clearly. And you walk down the path until you come to the brook. You pass over the brook, continue on, and finally you arrive back at your car. You get inside and drive home. And whenever you're ready, return to the present. Open your eyes or just become aware of right now. Now, if you were able to follow with me and make that journey up the mountain and meet that wise person, there's some interesting questions. Number one is, what did they look like? Were they young? Were they old? Was the person male or female? Having done this activity a number of times, what I find is a lot of people actually see an old man, both men and women. Often someone who's Native American, or perhaps someone who looks like a monk, a Buddhist monk. But of course, your wise person can be old, young, and can look any way that your imagination produces. What question did you ask? And did you get an answer? What was that? And perhaps the most interesting aspect sometimes is what was the gift that was given you? What do you think that means? If you'd like and want to share any aspect of your journey in the comments or send me a message, I'm always interested to hear. But for many people, it's a very private experience, and so we respect that as well. So what you've just done is essentially, in that guided fantasy, you made contact with your inner voice of wisdom. That was you, or part of you at the top of the mountain. And anytime you have a question, a dilemma, you can make that trip again in your own imagination or come back to this video and join me again. So I hope it's been an interesting experience and perhaps insightful as well. Best of luck to you. Take care.